Today we're going to talk about our strategy for donor retention. Now we know that donor retention is pretty much at an all-time low. It's just over 40% year over year right now, which is not good. That means almost 60% of donors who give to a charity in one year don't give to that same charity in the next year. And it's because we're just not doing the right things in terms of donor retention. So we're going to talk through our strategy, how we implement this with our clients, and then of course the ideas that you can use in your own nonprofit. So I'm sure you've heard this term before, stewardship. Stewardship is everything that we do for and with a donor to hopefully make them A, feel good about the gift that they give, and B, potentially give another gift in the future. Our best recommendation for a fundraising staff person who works about 40 hours a week, so one full-timer, is to spend at least 2 to 3 hours per week of block time on stewardship. We know from quite a bit of data collected from Blackbaud and Bloomerang and some of these other large fundraising data entities that it costs roughly 5 to 7 times more money to acquire a new donor than just to keep your existing ones. Now, of course, we want to always be acquiring new donors and growing our base of support, but it's much easier to do a great job and cultivate personal relationships or cultivate relationships between the donors and the mission for the people who are already supporting you. So this is our system for doing that. This program is called the 7 Touches Stewardship Program. And what that means is that you'll have hopefully 7 meaningful touch points with every one of your donors every single year. Now, if you're in a position where you have way too many donors for this to be possible, that's a great problem to have. Start with your best donors, your biggest donors, and work your way down and go as far down as you can. If you can't get to 7, 3 is still better than 0, 5 is still better than 3, and so forth. So it's not like, well, at 0 touch points with our donors, it's bad, and then at 7, it magically is good. We kind of have this bell curve of like, here is stewardship versus effort. And in the beginning, the first touch point's pretty good, and then a little bit less, and then a little bit less, and a little bit less, and it kind of flattens out. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then by 7 here, going beyond that, if you go to 8, 9, 10 meaningful touch points, that donor's not going to be necessarily more enthralled or more connected to your organization. So we just kind of hit these 7, but if you can fill in as much of this graph as you can, it's pretty useful. You do want to do that. But after about 7 meaningful touch points that are spread out kind of evenly, you can't do them all in February and say, we did it, we're done for the year. But we want to kind of move this across and get as close to 7 across the entire year as we possibly can. So this is kind of what we're aiming at doing. Now, what are these meaningful touch points? Well, I've got a bunch of ideas that you can try and use. Now, the theory behind this is that most of the time, when you're reaching out to your donors, the people who have already supported you or support you on a continual basis, on an annual basis, you're not just with your hand out again. There are so many charities who get this wrong, or every time they reach out to someone, it's just to ask for a gift. And that works fine. A lot of people give anyways, but it's a very transactional relationship. What we want to do is we want to train donors in such a way that when we reach out to them, they're excited to hear from us. Say if they're paying on a 3-year pledge, they're paying a $10,000 pledge and they're paying it off over 36 months or 40 months or something. Ideally, with 7 meaningful touch points every single year in each of those 3 years that we have, every time we reach out to them, they're excited to hear us. It's saying thank you or sharing an impact story or inviting them to some sort of an event. By the time we get to the 23rd or 24th interaction, then we can ask for another gift, but they're so used to being excited to hear from us. They're so used to seeing the call and going, oh yeah, I love it when Jake calls. He's always got a cool something for me. When we finally ask for another gift, they feel enough gratitude for the relationship. They're like, oh yeah, y'all are great. We'll definitely renew. As opposed to every single time that you call, multiple times a year, you're asking for a different gift, a different event invitation, another auction item, and they're just like, oh, I can't afford this call. I'm tired of hearing from Jake because he only ever asks me for stuff. You have to have this reciprocal relationship where you're showing them the good that their gift is doing before moving on to another ask. And that's what this program is designed to do. Hey, thanks for checking out our video. If you're getting value out of this but would like something more personalized, you can book 30 minutes with one of our experts to see if you qualify for our support services. Link below in the description. So, as promised, here's a list of 15 different ideas that you can schedule into your calendar as meaningful touch points throughout the calendar year. And I would say put one of these in February for your entire donor stack so that no matter what time of year your donor gives for the first time, by the time 12 months have come all the way back around, they've gotten to the point where they've gotten every single touch point. So here are the 15. A personalized thank you call. Super easy. You just pick up the phone and just say thank you. Should take 90 seconds. Maybe you leave a nice voicemail, but there is no other intention of that call. You were just calling to say thank you. Maybe you share a little bit about the gift and what kind of impact it has, but just pick up the phone, call the donor, say thank you. Everybody gets a thank you phone call in June. You take the month of June, you call 25 people a day or something. Again, mostly voicemails, but incredibly effective. Number 2, you share an impact report. You put together a basic report, could have infographics, could have numbers, could have a story of some kind, but showing them, hey, you and the other supporters have given us this, here's how we've spent that, and here's the good that we've done as a result. Look at all the awesome things that have happened as a result of your gift. Again, just wanted to say thank you and keep you posted on how everything's going. You share that impact report, let's say every October, you generate an impact report and you send to all your donors. Via email would be fine. Nice and easy, doesn't take that long to put together, very, very meaningful. Number 3 is, if possible, depending on the type of charity that you have, you schedule tours or you allow them to sign up for slots for tours. This gives you in-person time with the donor. You can do groups of donors at a time. You can run like 2 tours a day or 3 tours a day with your facilities, whether you're an animal shelter or a food bank or whatever it is that you do. Schedule a tour and walk your donors around. They have to be donors. This is kind of a VIP invite-only situation, so it feels nice. And again, it gives you time to talk and interface with them, if possible. The next is an anniversary acknowledgement. If you've ever been a spouse or had a partner, if you miss an anniversary, you're probably in big trouble. The same goes the other way for nonprofits. You can actually do a great job of acknowledging an anniversary, saying, hey, thanks so much, Jake. It's been a year since you started supporting us. We're so grateful that you're still with us. Just send them a card, send them an email, could be whatever you want, but acknowledge that first time gift. And if they gave for the first time on May 21st, every May 21st, you send that one donor that one thank you. Could be a call, could be a card, could be an email, some kind of an anniversary acknowledgement. Another thing that donors really like to hear are updates, donor-only updates. This is kind of a smaller version of an impact report, but if something big happens or you hit some milestone in the campaign or you hit some milestone in the construction or in the programming or whatever that's going on that you wouldn't normally share with everybody, send your donor base, just your donors, hey y'all, here's a little bit of inside information, here's what's been happening lately. You could do this in the form of a newsletter of some kind, but just one of the main things that donors want is just inside information. You can do this with a very, very simple update. Again, can go via email if you want, super low cost, not hard to do. The next would be VIP event invitations. Say if you already have an event, this is a great way to piggyback on that and give them an exclusive kind of behind the velvet rope situation, or there's a smaller private party within the party, and they get a special invitation just by being donors. So anybody can go to the event. That's a public thing. You can sell tickets to, whatever you want to do, but there's a private VIP area, and you can even make this a little bit public. And if people try to walk into the area and say, oh, this is for donors only, but if you'd like, you can fill out this pledge card right here. We can get you signed up as a donor and you can come right in and enjoy cocktails and fellowship or whatever else. So have that little extra special VIP something at your events. The next is thank you cards. Super, super easy to write handwritten notes in the age of AI and digitization of everything. A handwritten note goes a long way. So in addition to the thank you call, send a thank you card every Thanksgiving, every Valentine's Day, whatever you want to do, but send thank you cards to every donor every year if you can. The next is a donor wall. If you have a physical space where you can put people's names up on a wall, either in some sort of a permit recognition or even just a television that has scrolling names, and then invite them to come see their name, saying, hey, the new donor wall's up. Just want to let you know you can come by, get a picture, take a selfie with your name, but get that donor wall up there. The next is a digital shout out. You can do this via social media, you can do this via email newsletter, you can do donor spotlights, but you want to shout them out somewhere where they can be seen among their peers. The next is a birthday card. If you can figure out what your donor's birthday is and send them a birthday card, easy touch point. Maybe you send them a $2 gift card or a $3 gift card for a coffee or something, or just a little handwritten note saying, hey, thinking of you, happy birthday. I hope you have a great one. Something super easy like that. Birthday cards. The next is to acknowledge milestones. Kind of like the anniversary, this is when they hit certain benchmarks. So say if their cumulative giving passes $10,000 for the first time or $50,000, saying, hey, I don't know if you realize this, but over the years you've now passed the threshold and you're now in our Emerald Society or whatever it might be. But let them know and say, oh, I had no idea I had this much impact. But send them a little acknowledgement like, hey, you just hit this milestone. Pretty great stuff. Social media post. You can do this as a donor list, or you can do this as a singular donor spotlight. But the great thing about this is people will often then share it themselves. So you can share it on social media, of course, with their permission, and then tag them in whatever platform. They might share it themselves and gives your organization even more visibility. The next would be a personal visit. Just say, hey, we're not gonna ask you for more money, but I just wanna catch up. Let's get coffee. Super simple, very effective. The next would be a mission update phone call. Call them, same kind of thing where you have these digital updates that you send out to the masses. Maybe you call people special, your top 10, your top 25 donors, and say, hey, you're gonna see this thing that's gonna come out in a newsletter, but I really wanted to let you know that we got some special stuff as a result of your gift. So update phone call, great excuse to reach out. And finally, some sort of mission-related gift. Maybe it's a fruit basket, maybe it's a card, some kind of physical gift that just says, hey, we're super grateful for your support. You definitely want to scale this to the size of the donor. Obviously, you don't want to buy a $100 fruit basket for a $250 donor, but for your large donors, you can spend a little bit more and show your appreciation that way. So hopefully among all of these, you have some kind of ideas generated for all the things that you can do and improve your stewardship. Again, try to aim for 5 and up to 7 of these per year for every single donor that you can, and watch your donor retention numbers start to go up. If you want additional information about how we might be able to help you, just head over to pridephilanthropy.com and click that Let's Chat button, and we'll schedule a 30-minute call for free to see if you might qualify as a client. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end of the video, and we'll see you in the next one.